Question 7. 30% of rectangle ABCD is shaded in blue. 3/5 of the remaining portion is shaded in red. Alright. So question A. If the area in red is colored, if the area colored in red is circular in shape, express the radius of the red circle in terms of pi. Alright. How do you do this? We have been told the area that is colored in brown, that is 56 square centimeters. So we will have to use that value 56 square centimeter to find the area that is shaded in red. We know the fraction that is shaded, the fraction, but the value corresponding to red's fraction we don't know. First, let's find the fraction that is for blue, for red, and for brown. So blue is, what have they said about blue? 30%. So 30% of the rectangle is blue. That is 30%, or in terms of fraction is 30 over 100, or 3 over 10. So 3/10 of the rectangle is blue. Okay, 3/10 of the whole rectangle is blue. Then what is red? What have they said? 3/5 of the remaining portion. Right. So 3/5 of the remainder. So 3/5 of remainder. That's 3/5 of, what's the remainder? If 3/10 is gone for, or if 3/10 is colored in blue initially, what's remaining for other colors? Or what's the remaining part? That is 7 out of 10, 7/10. So now what would that give us? That give us 21 over 50 of the entire rectangle. So what is remaining is 7. I should have written 7/10 of whole rectangle. So that would give us 21 over 50 of the whole rectangle. All right. Then we have brown. What is colored in brown? Let's see brown. What fraction? The fraction is not given. We got to find out, or we find out that first we'll see what is colored in blue and red. That is 3/10 plus, so brown, let's say BR of brown. Since you have used B for brown, blue, let's use BR for brown. So 3/10 plus 21 over 50. That gives us what is blue plus red is. So what is blue plus red? We cannot simplify when they're having different denominators. So let's make the tens denominator 50. So if the tens denominator becomes 50, this 3 has to be multiplied by 5. That is 15. 15 over 50 plus 31 over 50. That gives us 46 over 50. So that is blue plus red. Then what is there for brown? So what is colored in brown? If 46 out of 50 is allocated for blue and red, what is remaining for brown? That is 4 parts. 4 out of 50. All right. So now what have they said? So we know the fractions of all three colors, the blue, the red, and the brown. But whose area in square centimeters do we know? Do we know blue's area in square centimeters? No, they haven't given. Red's area in square centimeters? No, they haven't given. But what about brown? Yes, brown they have given, right? So what is the brown spot? That's 4 out of 50, right? So let's see. So 4 out of 50 of the entire rectangle, of the whole rectangle, is equal to what? It's 56 square centimeters. Because they have said the area colored in brown is 56. So what is brown area in terms of fraction? It's 4 out of 50. In terms of square centimeters, 56. So now we can find the whole rectangle's area. The whole rectangle. How to find the whole rectangle? 56. Division 50 goes other side. Multiplication 50. And multiplication 4 goes other side. Division 4. So we can cancel. 4 has 1 4. 56 has 14 fours. So 14 times 50. What is 14 times 50? That is 700 square centimeters. So the entire rectangle, the whole rectangle is 700 square centimeters. But that's not the requirement. The requirement is express the radius of the red circle. So first we have to know what is the area of the red circle in terms of square centimeters. Can we find out it? Yes, we can, because we know the whole rectangle's area, and we also know the red color, what is colored in red is 21 out of 50 of the entire thing. So just a matter of finding out what is 21 over 50 of 700 is. So let's do that. All right, let's. So we have to find area colored in red. We know as a fraction it's 21 over 50 of the whole entire rectangle. 21 out of 50 of the whole rectangle. So that's 21 over 50. What's the whole rectangle's area? Just a while ago we found out to be 700. So now we can cancel 0 to 0 out. 5 has 1 5. 70 has 14 fives. So what is 21 times 14? So 21 times 14, that is, that's 294. So area of the red color circle is 294 square centimeters. Using this fact, we can find out the radius of the circle in terms of pi. How? Let's see how it is. So try to recall what is the formula to find the area of a circle. What is the formula? What's the formula is? Area of a circle is equal to pi r squared. Right, let's plug in the values. Area of the circle is given to us 294. Since we need the answer in terms of pi, let the pi be as it is. And radius, that's what we don't know, so let's put r squared. So what is radius is then r squared equals, let's try to isolate r. We are trying to isolate r. So let's put the pi to the other side. So it's 294 divided by pi. That's r squared, but what we need is not r squared, what we need is r. So how to find r? R equals, what happens, you got to put the square aside. So it's 294 over pi. The square goes other side. When the square goes other side, it becomes the inverse of square. What's the inverse operation of square? That is square root. So what is the r's value? What is r? R is square root of 294 divided by pi. All right, let's see what the next question is. Right, question B. What is told to us, it is told to us, Kamal says width of rectangle ABCD could be 5 centimeters. Do you agree with Kamal? Right, let's see. Now, what Kamal is saying is the rectangle's width is 5. So let's draw that rectangle. We just put a sketch. He's saying the length is 5. Or rather, the width is 5. Now, is it possible? Yes, a rectangle can have any width, doesn't matter. It can be 5, it can be 10, it can be 15, whatever. But there is something restricting, there's some restriction here. What is it? Remember, inside this rectangle, there should be a circle whose radius is square root of 294 over pi. Would be the radius. Radius is equal to square root of 294 divided by pi. So let's take a rough value for pi. What's the rough value you can take for pi? That's 22 over 7, right? So square root of 294 divided by 22 over 7, which also can be written as what? Square root of 294 divided by 22 over 7. Now, since we are not using a calculator, whenever there is a fraction with a division, we don't continue the division, we convert that division to a multiplication. Let's do that. So square root of 294, we convert the division to a multiplication. And what happens? We got to take the reciprocal of 22 over 7. That's 7 over 22. Right. Then what do we get? Let's get a rough value. That is 22 divided by 2 is 11. We can cancel by 2. And 294 divided by 2 is 147. All right. So then what do we have for radius? We have square root of 147 times 7 over 11. Right. So let's get an approximate value for that. What is 147 times 7? 147 times 7 is, you can multiply. That's 1029. So So what is the radius? So let's get a blank page, a blank surface here. All right, let me try to manage the space. So what is the radius? I'm writing over here. So 147 times 7 is 1029. So square root of 1029 divided by 11. So what is 1029 divided by 11? What is 1000? We might end up getting a decimal answer. 1029 divided by 11. That is, oh, we also can get, if you want, you can get as a mixed number or a decimal. So if you don't have to work a lot, you can just work one decimal place. It's going to be 1029 divided by 11 is 93.5. All right, students. So what is the square root of 93.5? Now remember, why are we doing this working? To check whether the width 5 centimeters is enough. Because let's assume the circle's radius is 4 centimeters, then it's fine. We can, like, if it's 4, if the radius is 4, how much space do we need? What's the width we need? At least 8. Why double of 4? When you draw a circle, if the radius is 4, remember there will be 2 radiuses like this, right? 2 radii. So the entire diameter is going to be 8. So even a 4 centimeter circle cannot fit in if the width is 5. So what about if the width is 2 centimeters? Is the 5 centimeter rectangle enough? Yeah, right. If the width is 2, the diameter is 4. So within the rectangle, the circle can be drawn. So let's see what's the radius of the circle they have drawn. So we found out radius to be square root of 93.5. So what's the square root of 93.5? We don't have to work for the exact value, just the approximate value. Because only thing what we're going to check is whether the diameter of the circle would be more than 5 or not. So we know square root of 93.5 is, there's no space for me here, so let's write here. So we can say square root of 93.5. What is square root of 81? That's 9. So definitely 93.5 square root is bigger than 9. But our concern is not 9, our key number is 5. So is square root of 93.5 bigger than 5? Yes, right, it's bigger than 5. It is going to be 9 point something, right? So square root of 93.5 is bigger than 5. Therefore, diameter would be certainly bigger than 5, certainly larger than 5. Certainly, if the radius is bigger than 5, there's no doubt that diameter is larger than 5. So therefore, D would be certainly larger than 5. All right. So if the diameter is larger than 5, the circle will not fit in to a rectangle which has a width of 5. Therefore, what we wrote here is square root of 93.5 is bigger than 5. Therefore, D would be certainly larger than 5. Then we say, therefore, the circle will not fit into a rectangle which has a width of 5 centimeters. Therefore, Kamal's state, I don't agree with Kamal's statement. This estimation what we did here. Now, we found out the radius of the circle to be 294 over pi. That was part A's answer. Part B, the question is, can the width of the rectangle be 5? Another way to deal with this question is, instead of using 22 over 7 for r, we can use the decimal value for, instead of using 22 over 7 for pi, we can use the decimal value for pi. How is that? The radius will be square root of 294 divided by pi. That's what we found in part A of this question. So what's pi? What's the decimal value of pi? 3.14. But here we don't have to do the exact calculation. So what we can do is square root of 294, and let's take pi's value as 3. Not 3.14, just 3. Because what we are going to do is just we don't need to know the exact radius of the circle, just an estimation. So that's square root of, what is 294 divided by 3? That's going to be 98, right? So what's square root of 98? Square root of 98 is going to be definitely bigger than 5. We can say square root of 98 is larger than 5, which implies the diameter is going to be larger than 5 centimeters. Therefore, the circle will not fit into a 5 centimeter width rectangle. Hence, I don't agree with Kamal's statement.